Hello, good morning, students. Today we are going to see the topic People-Centered Design Thinking from the Unit 1, Introduction to Design Thinking. So, to know the customer problem, we need to understand the customer first. So, that is what actually known as uncovering the human needs and requirements. So, there was a saying by Simon Sinek, you can't understand someone's needs without walking in the issues, which means to understand someone's problem we need to think in their situation, we need to think in their aspect or perspective or in their scenario where they are uh, facing that problem. So this is what actually called as empathy stage in which the customer problem is clearly observed and understood. So beyond the symptoms to deep insights of this customer problem or the human needs, the first thing need to identify the pain points and motivation behind that. So here the pain points means the problem is actually conceived by knowing the pain points of customers or the users, and the motivation, it's the idea how we can proceed with the solution for the identified pain points. So for that we need to initiate a user research. We need to talk with the people, various users in different age groups or different background of users. So that is what actually called these kind of process, like interviews one on one or a group or surveys. We need to prepare a questionnaire and give among the customers, and we make the customers to uh, have the survey, take the survey on this. And observations, we can provide a kind of psychometric test or some other observation practice to know the actual user problem, to highlight the pain points. Then we need to collect the data and feedback from the various users, and we need to work on with the analysis, and also to develop a persona. So persona means every customer has a different history of behavior or a history of uh, usage. So we need to collect the user profile. That profile is actually called as persona. That is one of the empathy mapping stage. How the user feels, how the user hears, how the user says, what the user thinks, all these things part of empathy mapping. Then to recognize the biases between the customers, and what kind of assumptions we can get it from the user research. So to evolve with the right problem, we need to understand a problem must be defined well. If the problem well defined, then it is half solved, Albert Einstein once said. So defining the problem to solve is really a challenge. Okay, so assuming the assumptions with the biases, and we have to create a case analysis like use cases, what if it is, what if that, what if this, why. We have to create a why questions. So when we have more one number of why questions and what if questions, we are very close to the solutions to identify for the problem. So also need to find the key stakeholders who are all connected to the problems, who are all part of the problem, so and their requirements and needs. So in that way, finally, we can define the problem statement with the user-centered language, not with the developer-centered language. User must understand the problem finally. This is the final understanding about the problem. Then we can proceed with the problem-solving approach using design thinking, and we should avoid the solution-focused thinking. Actually, solution-focused thinking is actually happens in the agile approach. But in design thinking, we cannot go with the solution-focused thinking. We have to go with the problem-centric, user-centric approach. Then there is a SWOT analysis. We can look into that. Not only SWOT analysis, the various techniques to identify the problem. Like one of the approach is customer journey mapping, service blueprinting, another approach, and SWOT analysis, as I told you, that strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats, and mind mapping and brainstorming. And finally, HMW statements. So what is that HMW statements? How might we? So that is similar to what if situational analysis. So with all these analysis, we can have a close attention on the customers, how they are facing the problem. So it's all about understanding the customer behavior, they are using time, and they are using behavior, all these things, right? So what it is put into practice, incorporate user research into the project level, then they use the design thinking approach for the personal challenges. So then practice empathy and active listening. Then to initiate collaboration with the diverse different set of stakeholders who are connected with the problem. Then to reflect and adjust the problem definition. Then finally call to action, C2A, CTA. So what is call to action? Once we get to know what exactly the problem, we start finding the solution from that moment, and we start applying the people centric design thinking approach. So here are some examples. I would like to showcase you the HMW questions, which means how might we questions improve digital experience. Okay, for that, what is the question? How might we design a more intuitive navigation system for our website to reduce bounce rates? So one example. Another example, to enhance the e-commerce, how might we create a seamless and personalized checkout experience for our e-commerce platform to increase conversions? So, to attain the sustainability in packaging, how might we develop eco friendly packaging solutions resonating with environmentally conscious customers? Another example, to enhance the customer support, how might we reimagine customer support for timely, empathetic solutions and improved satisfaction? Also, final example, financial inclusion. To achieve the financial inclusion, how might we design an inclusive, accessible mobile app for simplified financial management in undeserved communities? Fine. I hope you students, you understood the how might we questions examples. Thank you. Let us continue in the next class.